us preparing this preliminary report. We're now on the third draft preliminary report. All political parties, from what I understand, have made submissions, both orally and followed by written submissions. Well, at least the EFF has. 3 times. We are here again with this third draft where the content team has not adequately captured the inputs. And I'm speaking particularly on behalf of the EFF. Other parties can do the same thing. And while we can have an appreciation, Chair, that it's the responsibility of the content team to reword and make it sound parliamentary and acceptable language for a report such as this. It cannot change the spirit of what it is that we are trying to say in our submissions. It's not their job. So I want to bring to the attention of the committee, this is not a reflection. This report, largely, Chair, is not a reflection of the submissions that members have made, both orally and in writing, to this committee. It is not, and we don't know who instructions, and it begs the question rather, on whose instructions is the content team drafting this report? Because it's not a reflection of our consolidated inputs. And we're going to go here again, and we're going to go read line by line, and our inputs are not captured. Their job was not to neutralize submissions. Their job was to capture what it is and the spirit of what it is that we want to say. And whatever we differ on here, it must be highlighted, and then we deliberate, find each other, and we move on. But this is going to be the third time, and we are going to give inputs. And it now appears very clear in this report that this report, there's some instructions, or either the content team is acting on their own, we don't know. But this is not a reflection of the inputs that this committee has given. Nobody asked the content team or whoever they are taking directions from to water down our inputs. It's our responsibility here as members of parliament to debate whether we agree with that input or whether we don't, not for them to neutralize it. And we can't continue going back. This is going to be our 4th time giving the same inputs. And I'm begging that we send the content team away, or we get a whole new content team if we have to. But our inputs must be captured in the way that we have submitted them and in the spirit of how it is, not for them to be neutralized. We come here, we debate what we agree on and what we don't. Then obviously it goes to legal, and legal advise us, no, you're out of order here. I'm going to give you one simple example here, Chair. We've been saying in every single input, we understand our entire report says it opens with the committee does not have a mandate to make criminal findings. It cannot make findings of corruption, etc., etc. We know that. We've given our inputs that said we cannot open a finding with saying there's no evidence before the committee of a corrupt relationship. We can't, because we can't make a finding of that. So we're doing a disclaimer. Based on what? Because we can't make a finding. So you can't say that there's no evidence, because even if there was evidence before the committee of corruption, we can't state that because it's not in our mandate. What we can state is that there's enough evidence before us to warrant for this matter to be referred to the appropriate institution for investigations into corruption or into investigations of perjury. But yeah, this report, I don't know whose report it is because it's not our report. There's even more sections that are added. While the committee cannot, there's no evidence before the committee of perjury, but we can't make a finding of perjury anyway. But we are saying that those people must be charged for perjury and let the police and let the courts make a decision on that. So we can't, Chair, be going back and forth on the same thing. So either the content team, Chair, you need to have a meeting with them and ask them who is advising, or whether there's some invisible hand or something that is advising them, because this is not a reflection of even our oral testimonies, our oral inputs that we have given, all of members of this committee. And even where we differ, our differences must be noted so we can debate it and see how to move. They're not to be neutralized. All of a sudden, the DA in this report has a lot of submissions, but I'm not saying that they were not allowed to give written submissions. We don't know if they did or not. But throughout these deliberations, there's only been, if my memory serves me correctly, and I'm open to correction, the only input the DA has given over our three deliberations here was that in relation to Honorable Collard Barnard. The rest was we happy, we happy. All of a sudden, this whole report just looks blue, and the DA has made all these submissions. When all of a sudden does that come from? And if you look at it even deeper, Chair, those submissions all of a sudden is in relation to some of the parties' submissions, and it's to counter that. But our submissions as members of this committee are not properly captured. So there's something that's going on and it's not right. And we want a report that's here that is the spirit of what it is we've given our submissions in, and let us go and debate it as members of parliament. It is not the content team's job to do that. And if they are taking instructions from anybody besides us, then that must also be dealt with, Chair. Thank you. That's my input.
That you are raising in the meeting, you have also returned to me as the chair and raised your frustrations with me as the chair. But I want to indicate to you that it is not only you. I got concerns from several members of the committee, which to a large extent I'm agreeing with them that most of the input by Ms. Van Zyl and Ms. Silkstone that were made by committee members in our last engagements are not reflected in the report, and we have to find a way to say it. We are not taking anything away from yourselves. We know that you are very professional and you are committed to giving this committee unqualified support. I want to encourage you that the criticism that is being made against this third draft must be taken in good faith, that members are raising it not because they want to take any points away from yourselves, but because they strongly believe that there are serious omissions that were supposed to be reflected in the report, and some of these omissions were even made in the last meeting after the physical meeting that we had in Cape Town. Amongst them, you would see the submissions that have been made about IPIT. I think the committee came out very strong, vigorous about what they wanted to see reported there. And there will be many other areas that committee members will be given a chance to speak here, and they will make similar reflections. And it's very sad that this would be what they had been saying in the previous meetings. But the last point that I do not agree with you on, Honorable Matthys, is when you want to personalize certain parts of the report to the Democratic Alliance. I think that what we should say, that may be the observation that you have made. If there are observations that you make on the report that point to the fact that the report may be one-sided or one-dimensional in terms of capturing inputs and findings and recommendations, we should not personalize it to a particular political party. We could rather say there are inputs of other members that are captured, and whilst inputs of other members have been left out, because I do not want us to find ourselves entangled in a partisan or ideological battle, but to say this is what we want to see happening in the report. And that is why today, where I stand, I am prepared to say that let's take this report page by page. It means in a particular page, if there is a paragraph number that a member wants to speak to, the report will be flighted on the screen. And if there is any correction that we want to do on the text of the report, we do it here and satisfy ourselves that when we leave the meeting, no matter how long it takes us, we have to do justice and satisfy ourselves that all our inputs have been correctly captured in the report. I saw that the content team also has written us a memorandum to guide us on how they think we can deal with the report, pointing to certain parts of the report and what the conduct of the committee should be on those areas. Maybe even before we go straight, if members agree that we proceed, if before we go straight into the report, let me give them a chance to hear from their side how they interacted with the inputs that members made in the last meeting and how such inputs would have been factored into the report. If you may have anything to say, members of the content team. Ms. Van.
To put it on record, Chair, that it will be a futile exercise if we have again to make inputs to the members, to the admin, hosts and others. We've made inputs in writing, Chair, in writing. You know, it's disturbing to say we're going to spend again another time, like we are now reinventing the wheel. It's like now we're going to start afresh. I mean, when we submitted written inputs, Chair, there's nothing more than that which can be asked from us. We have done our best. I mean, look, for instance, when you read the whole report, Chair, as I was saying in the last meeting, that it has exonerated everyone. Whereas when I was busy doing that, we've been accused as parliamentarians by the public protector that we are bothering her and their office about the matter of Senzo Mkhunu. And I must remind you, Chair, and some members here, I know it was a very a difficult thing when I mentioned the word Pravin Gordhan. And I'm going to say that again here in this meeting. Chair, that to say we are finding ourselves, we are waiting for the Section 27, the famous now Section 27, when Honorable Nomvalo asked about that from both Patoi, Advocate Patoi, and Advocate Johnson. We are still waiting today. But when you read this, is not captured. Now, we look foolish. We look like we are stupid. We don't know what we are doing. We are even being accused. You know, I know that we have the different views from the public, but we are the representatives of the public in this parliament because we are saying this is a parliament of the people. Now, we look stupid, Chair, because of the admin. Because all what we deliberated, what we are probing, is not captured, Chair. We cannot start afresh, Chair, from when we started last year and give inputs. Once they have, there's Hansard, there's recordings, and we've done things in writing. And it's painful, Chair, you know, to sit here today and say we want now again to start to say you didn't capture this, you didn't capture that. They've got that in writing, Chair. We wrote a letter. We've sent emails, comprehensive, Chair. Hence, it's painful for me to say we now have to sit with the admin again to say you didn't capture this, you didn't capture that. What is that? What are they for? What are they for with us? I mean, we are sitting with them in the meeting, and they are taking a minute, and we even return to them and put our inputs to say in the first draft they've made mistake. In the second draft, they made. Today, we are sitting for the third one, the same thing, Chair. Hence, I think Honorable Matthys is suspicious that there's a third, yes, there's something, somebody is telling them what to do. But for us as Mkhonto Wesizwe Party, we are disappointed, Chair. We are very disappointed.
I don't want us to go to that extent, Honorable Skosana. For now, let's be convinced that every one of us is acting in good faith. But
yeah, but Chair, I understand that. But I'm saying, Chair, how many times we've been deliberating this matter? This is the third draft. In the last meeting, we were convinced that when it comes back, it will come back with what we have deliberated and what all our inputs. We know that they can't capture everything we're spoken about, but there's zero yet.
Yeah, what I hear you and what I hear you and Honorable Matthys saying, if I listen to you intelligently, you are saying that it is an exercise in futility if we are going to sit here and regurgitate what we did in the last meetings, and that the content team must be instructed to go and factor those inputs because they have them. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, exactly, Chair. You heard me very, very, very well. I think it will be proper, for them to have a self-introspection. They must go and do the right thing. That's what I can say, Chair. But what we have been provided with, the draft which we have now, leave much to be desired.
I wanted
Thank
to
you, Chair.
hear. I wanted to hear a yes or no. Is that what
Yes,
you are
Chair.
saying? Is
Yes,
that what
Chair.
you are saying? Is that what you are saying, Honorable Matthys?
Yes, Chair, I think we can support that. It is really a futile exercise. There's even recordings that we have of our inputs from our first deliberation. There's the submissions. I don't know why we must go line by line to say exactly the same thing again. They must just be instructed to capture our inputs as it is and in the spirit that it is, and then we come here and we go line by line and we decide what we agree with or not to neutralize our inputs.
Okay. The African National Congress?
PMI's hand has been up for a while now.
My chair, I think I came first with my hand.
I'm now doing the rotation. I'm taking you party by party. I'm starting with the African National Congress. The question that both Honorable Skosana and Honorable Matthys have tabled here to say that the content team should go back and incorporate all the inputs that parties have made the way raw as they would have been sent to them. And then we will come back with a draft that has all those inputs incorporated and go through them paragraph by paragraph or page by page. The African National Congress.
Of order, Chair.
Has ignored their inputs. It's plain wrong. It's not true. If you open up Annexure A in the draft report and you look at the document, there are 228 party submissions, and it's tracked line by line, including the EFF's own input from 16 July, written and what was stated orally. The team captured our thoughts and they put them right in front of us in blue text or highlighted in.
Chair, there was no thought that Honorable Shongwe and Kosana Nomvalo saying these people are innocent. There's no
May
such
I-
a thing.
I
So
never
please,
said
on point of order was raised, it was not attended to. Ungakhuluma amanga ngathi wena baba, awukahle.
Yeah, but you cannot afford an honorable member an opportunity to speak. And then even before he completes a sentence, we want to call a point of order. I deliberately ignored the point of order and I'm justified in doing so because where I stand, the honorable member has not made a complete statement. So it will be preposterous for me to just get excited by a point of order being called when Honorable Sols has not even completed a statement. Unless the point of order is on him speaking, then it can be sustained. But if we want to appropriately call order, let's allow the honorable member to make a statement and complete it. And all of us.
I'm the stepchild of this meeting this morning. When Honorable Skusana was making his input, I raised my hand. And this was before you went to the larger committee to give their input on the matter. I want to say that I strongly agree with the input by Honorable Skusana as well as Honorable Mates, and also the fact that as Action SA, this is exactly what we had recommended. I think it was in our previous meeting as well as in the previous meeting when we mentioned that, you know what, the input, we don't have sort of the certainty and we are not being reassured, I think, as members that, you know what, our submissions are finding expression in the document. And like Honorable Untuli, gave a solution and a way forward to say that, you know, if we can come back and if we can sort of see where, because it's watered down to an extent where you sit with your submissions and you can't even tell if this speaks to what you have submitted, if it's included or not. And I think, like we have previously said, exactly the solution that Honorable Ntuli gave here today. We can't possibly sit here today again and go through everything. It's a waste of time. We as the committee, I think we must be given the reassurance that the input we have given actually finds expression in this document exactly the same way we did with the terms of reference. I recall with the terms of reference, we sat, I think it was in a couple of our meetings, and we all worked on the wording. And when it came to a certain paragraph, we would say, you know, these are the three parties that made their submissions on this. And we would sort of eliminate certain words, but we knew that it was Action SA, it was EFF, or whoever that gave that input to that. It's maybe just one or two words that we needed to work on. And once again, the third time now, again, I'm going to propose, like Honorable Ntuli proposed earlier on, that we actually reflect the input of the parties and we just work on, you know, certain the paragraphs and the wording, because right now it's really concerning. This report is not reflective of the months of work that we have done. And this report in the state, maybe also, I think some of the members said that, maybe I think Honorable Wessels, let's allow Ms. Van Zyl and her team to maybe also explain to us why the certain choice of words so that we understand going forward. But yeah, we cannot sit an entire day now and reconstruct a report once again. They need to go back and come back and reflect where we have given the input. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable J.